Hi everyone, Pete and Grady here.
Hello everyone.
Good evening, and we're here again to address some questions that you might have for us regarding your health or well-being or things that you struggle with.
One question this evening was how to address adrenal fatigue. So we'll
go into that a little bit.
Yep.
So how do you know if you have adrenal fatigue? And there are lots of people who are diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. And so you know that you have adrenal fatigue if you suffer from the dreaded afternoon slump. So after 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or even 3 o'clock, all you want to do is lie down and take a snooze on your office desk or in your car. And of course you can't do that. So usually what people do, they have a pick-me-up in the way of a coffee or smoko, and then they get a second wind.
The coffee will stimulate their adrenals to give them more energy.
Yeah, that's right. So that will whip up your adrenals, and then your body pulls out a little bit more money from your credit card because there's nothing in the bank.
Which is stored glucose from the liver.
Yeah, and that means you're actually living on your credit card, which is precarious, especially if you put nothing back in the bank.
I've had some people come to me with fatigue, diagnosed supposedly adrenal fatigue. I've taken their blood pressures and they've had very low blood pressures. And when they've stood up, the top one has dropped dramatically, so they're very dizzy, and their heart rate has increased to above 20 beats a minute from what it was when it was resting. Now that tells me that their adrenals are working fine. It's pumped adrenaline out to get the heart beating faster, to keep the blood pressures up.
Yeah.
But they still lack energy, and it's mainly due to a lack of minerals and trace minerals.
Okay, so I'll just butt into Peter because he's the science geek, and Peter does this sort of testing every day. Has done for 20 years. So Pete thinks we all understand what he's talking about, but we're not. So one of Peter's tests is to see that if you lie down and he takes your blood pressure, and you stand up and then he's still taking your blood pressure, if there is a dramatic change in your heartbeat and the blood pressure. That's right, and the blood pressure, that means your adrenals are fine, they're doing their job, they're kicking in.
If the heart rate hadn't jumped up and the blood pressure dropped, then the adrenals aren't working too well.
And actually it's quite rare to be suffering from true adrenal fatigue, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah.
Like the
very
real,
rare.
like authentic, hardcore adrenal fatigue is quite rare. We don't, the way Peter tests it, it's not showing up like that. However, the person, when you come to us with all those horrible symptoms of adrenal fatigue, and it can also mean aches and pains in your body, doesn't it?
Quite often people have been told they've got adrenal fatigue, so they do have adrenal fatigue. They think they have, and that really affects their energy levels.
Yeah, so they have a sort of a collapsed look about them. They're not, and quite often sometimes these people can be like really upright, sometimes, and then they can suddenly collapse, like their energy drops into their boot. There are lots of different reasons for that, and so we've just given you all the reasons why adrenal fatigue as such is really like a misdiagnosis, and it's not really the real problem. Because I'll tell you that with a story. Remember that lady that came to you last year, and she'd had adrenal fatigue for how long? 5 or 6 years. Nobody could help her. Yeah. Maybe 12 years, like a long, big chunk of her life. And after seeing Peter and Pete doing his testing and addressing the real problem, she was better within 6 weeks. So can you tell us the mechanics, what's behind it then, Peter?
Well, the adrenals they work a lot better with minerals and trace minerals, which we don't get in our food. So everyone in Australia really needs to have a mineral supplement, which we recommend they have salt, 1/4 teaspoon for every litre of water they drink. And they also work well with good digestion. And that's the main cause of lack of energy and supposedly adrenal fatigue is
it's faulty digestion.
Faulty digestion. We can eat the best food around.
And actually your digestion can seemingly be good, so you're not burping or farting all the time, right? But it's still faulty.
Yeah. And so someone's just posted a question there, what supplements would you recommend for a person suffering with Hashimoto's, which is to do with the thyroid. So it's iodine, and that's also a good thing for the adrenals too, because the thyroid gives us a lot of energy in the morning when we get up, and the adrenals take over at 2 o'clock, around a bit after lunch in the afternoon.
And they're meant to give you a second wind. And
sometimes if we don't have enough iodine on board, the adrenals have to work overtime, so they maybe won't be producing as much energy as we could have, but we are meant to live on cellular energy, not adrenal energy, really. As Grada was saying, adrenal energy is credit card energy that we need to be paying back.
So what happens when you're living on your credit card? So how do you stop that? You actually sometimes have to put some real money in the bank.
We have to make more money and pay off the credit card.
Mm-hmm. Make some deposits. So how can you make some deposits in your energy bank, energy storage of your body? By getting your digestion to work faultlessly, so like get rid of all the glitches and hitches in your digestion.
And every cell of the body makes energy, and apparently if we could harness the energy of every cell of our body, each one of us could light up the city of Launceston for a couple of days.
Yeah, one human being is capable.
That's how amazing.
Much energy will be produced. So actually there's no reason to like go around like this. Really. So we have to, that's at the bottom of it. So how can we access it?
That lady that Grada was talking about, who had come with a long history of fatigue, supposedly adrenal fatigue, I recommended she stoke up the fires of her digestion.
That's why we're sitting near the fire, so they go like that again, and that's why we're looking all hot.
That's why I'm looking fairly warm.
Yeah.
And so my digestion used to be a bit faulty.
Very faulty.
Used to have food allergies. I'd vomit after certain foods. And
Peter actually nearly died from food allergies.
And when I was a baby, I couldn't tolerate milk at all. I almost died.
Or goat's milk.
And then, I'm not a goat, that's why. But anyway, I discovered, someone told me about a vet in Devonport who...
Dr. Lane or Lana
supplied enzymes to animals, and he also supplied them to their owners. So I went in, I didn't have a dog at that point, but I bought his enzymes and I started taking those years ago. And my digestion has...
Turned around completely.
I've got the strongest digestion around, and that's what I told that woman to have, an enzyme mix, and then the beet flow to get the bile flow going, because we need that to flow properly for proper digestion as well. And the best energy source we can get and give ourselves is fats, and we need the bile flowing to digest our fats properly. Mm-hmm. So that's why the beet flow and the enzymes crank up the digestion and get the cells making energy, so we don't have to rely on our adrenals. Mm-hmm. And you have all the energy under the sun.
Of course, you actually have heaps in your savings account. You might have like $10,000 in your account, so you can go shopping.
Well, we have a lot of stored energy in the freezer, we tell people.
Peter means in your fat rolls.
In the fat cells, because that's where we store every ounce of sugar above 1 teaspoonful, 4 times a day. So if we eat more than
4 teaspoons a day,
4 teaspoonfuls of sugar a day, which
goes into fats.
Or the foods that turn to sugar, that'll be turned into storage. And our genetic makeup is set to do that, because our bodies are expecting to go into a winter where we need those stores to use as energy during the winter months when food disappears. So, and we never go into a winter.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with adrenals?
Well, it's because the best energy source we can give ourselves or give our cells is fats. That we need the bile to flow properly with. Okay. So this woman regained her energy.
It's upside down or something.
Within about 5 to 6 weeks, but it was
real energy.
It was real energy.
She started to put some money back into a bank.
And she probably didn't have adrenal fatigue.
Oh, I just remembered something rude, trust me. My rude Dutch mind. But if you can tell that you have true adrenal fatigue if your pubic hair, if you have such thing, is long and lanky and not short and curly. We're all quickly looking at our undies. If you don't have a wax, of course, then yes. So if you're au naturel, go and check out your pubic hair. And if it's not short and curly, that means your adrenals are definitely suffering. So that's actually a secret code to check if you're suffering from adrenal fatigue or not. Okay.
Now, our adrenals can be stressed when we are pumping out too much adrenaline all the time, and that's when we're living on the stress side of an automatic nervous system we have.
Yeah, so if you can't relax, in other words, and you don't, you just get too wound up and your body doesn't get a chance to unwind.
Or if you've got a stressful job, or
if you have
stressful family, or mum of a few kids.
Or if you're married, if you're a woman and you're married.
Or a man if you're married.
If you're married, you definitely need I was going to say, I need something like 10 magnesiums per day, but Peter only needs 1. So that means his life is a lot easier than me.
So magnesium drops us out of the stress mode. It'll help relax our muscles as well as drop us out of the stress side of that automatic nervous system.
And then everything goes better. Actually, I'll just be serious for a minute. Huh?
Oh, well, I thought you were.
Okay. Serious people take between 2 and 4 tablets of this a day, right? But sometimes I need more than that, and I've taken up to 12 tablets or a day sometimes, because you'll know you have enough when you have to go to the toilet to have diarrhea.
Yeah, all an overdose of magnesium will do is send you to the toilet with
very safe.
Loose bowel action.
That's putting money back into your bank account,
and
literally.
If you want a bit of an extra boost for your adrenals, or drop you out of that stress side, Complex S is a set of nutrients specifically geared to giving the adrenals a rest.
To support them, actually.
To support them,
So Complex S stands for sympathetic nervous system, which is your stress. S is for stress.
So if you're in a stressful situation
that you can't escape from,
Complex S will support your adrenal glands, so they will keep working. But cranking up the digestion with enzymes and the beet flow to get the bile flow going, and having your Himalayan salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt per litre of water, is really essential. And
Calm Nature is also awesome. So that's a herbal blend plus magnesium plus some amino acids, and it's filled with enzymes as well. So ever since Pete discovered the missing key to his life, really to his digestion, was enzymes. We have specialized in enzymes. We've been around the world, and we went to America, and our products are called the Empirical Labs products, and we have stocked many different kinds of enzyme blends.
So the Calm Nature's got a perfect blend of enzymes, so you could take one every meal to help the digestion, as well as other herbs and nutrients to help
to support your adrenals, and it's 47.30 or something like that for 180 capsules. And all our tablets that we import from America are very, very economic because there's no middleman, isn't it, Pete? Because enzymes are normally quite expensive. And I just want to say something before we finish, that Peter, when he suffered from poor digestion, although he didn't really know how poor it was, did you, Pete? Because he just had to avoid certain foods, like he had to avoid all dairy, everything with dairy in it. And fish would sometimes give him almost anaphylactic shock. But what we didn't know was that it really affected his moods as well. Can I say that?
Well, I wasn't getting the energy because our brain takes 25% of those energies.
So he was very moody and intolerant.
But sometimes
and now he isn't anymore.
Also, I recommend a good balanced supplement to help people get the easily absorbable nutrients while their digestive system is being cranked up to work properly. So there's a couple of months worth of a very balanced supplement that's got about 30 easily absorbable nutrients, which ideally we'd be getting out of our food, but sometimes we don't.
Well, we
particularly if we don't eat a balanced diet, and then if we don't digest it, we're not getting.
Because when you're stressed, you don't produce enough hydrochloric
acid. There's a guy who comes to us quite regularly. He's a fly-in, fly-out miner from Western Australia, and every time he comes, he buys one of these and a couple of containers of Bioraculus, and he said that keeps him going because they have food at canteens, so they can't dictate what they have, and he said that's what keeps him going while he works up in the Western Australian mining area.
What's that boy again? That was a sports person, and he had what's it called? Sorry, I can't think. Epstein-Barr. Chronic fatigue. What is it called again?
Well, it's
glandular fever. Sorry. Yeah. So this was a professional sporting guy. Can't even think of the right words now. And so he had, I can't think of it now, glandular fever, which would have meant the end to his career, of course. It was very terrible. So he came to us for a treatment, and he had to have 6 activator a day, 6 to 8, which is a lot, plus like 20 drops of iodine, and plus 1 treatment. And within a couple of weeks, he was completely recovered, which is totally unheard of. So he didn't lose out on his career. And he's still going strong. So, I mean, these are all things that can help. Well, definitely they solve the problem, and they are solutions that last, that literally put money back into your bank account. Because without energy, you can't really have the life that you're meant to be living. And we have to get to the root cause. So yeah, if you've got a diagnosis of adrenal fatigue, okay, so look at your pubic hair and see if that's true. If it's short and if it's all curly, then you don't have adrenal fatigue. But if you still have the symptoms, you still definitely, regardless of the diagnosis, you need help. And we always working towards getting people's digestion, getting their inner fire, inner unlimited supply of energy build up.
So the cells can make the energy rather than relying on the adrenals.
And I've finished, there's an adrenal point on your hand, it's sort of there. You can touch it now, and if it feels like sore, you can give it a nice massage. That's a pressure point for your adrenal, sort of right in there. And sometimes you feel it feels a little bit bubbly or something, or it feels sore, and you can give it a little tune-up by massaging that every day. That's just tuning it up so that sends the energy to the nerve endings or the reflex endings that go to your adrenals.
So the question about Hashimoto's that was put forward just before, 10 drops of the molecular iodine a day is really what everyone needs, but particularly people who have low thyroid function.
And enzymes.
And enzymes and minerals and trace minerals, because the thyroid is also a potassium-driven gland. So we need lots of the Himalayan salt. It's got good amounts of potassium in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because the thyroid is a potassium-driven organ, like you said. Yeah. Okay. And maca powder, that's another really great. If you want to have maca powder, is actually food more than a supplement. So you can buy the powder and put it in smoothies, or you can buy it in capsules as well. And that supports your body as well. It helps you to get your mojo back. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, post it in the comment box. I'll put some links in to explain the things that we've talked about, and hope to see you all next week and have some questions ready for us next week. Stay safe and warm, everyone.
Have a good week.
And if you know of anybody who is struggling, please share this Facebook Live. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.